I know you always want to regroup after the end of a long season, but this seems like it was a little bit harder on everybody involved. Would that be fair to say, and how do you regroup?
Yeah, my season's not over, obviously. I've still got 5 events left to play, so... but yeah, it's been I feel like the tournaments came thick and fast, and obviously with the Olympics thrown in there as well this year, it condensed everything a bit, but yeah, I think it was obviously a great season. Hopefully Scottie goes on and finishes this thing off, because he deserves it after what a year that he's had. So, but yeah, it's been a long season, and I'm going to just have to think about trying to build in a few extra breaks here and there, next year and going forward, because I felt like I hit a bit of a wall, sort of post U.S. Open, and still feel a little bit of that hangover.
Is Scottie's consistency a part that you admire the most about him, that he's been able to do it for 3 straight seasons?
Yeah, I think his consistency, his attitude. Feel like he just sort of brings the same demeanor to the course every single day, no matter what position in the leaderboard he is in, or he's just he's amazing to just watch. The way he manages himself around the golf course, and we'll look back on 2024, and it's obviously one of the best individual years that a player's had for a long time.
Rory, go ahead, Scott.
Sorry, how many strokes will you end up having this year? And
27.
And how many is too many, do you think?
27. I'm usually sort of like a 20, 22 sort of person. But again, that was when I was sort of in my 20s and didn't have the responsibilities that I do now. So I'm going to try to cut it back to like 18 or 20 a year going forward, I think.
Roy, when you play with Scottie, is there just subtle differences between you two right now? Like, is there anything that you sit there and you go, man, he's just doing something that I'm not? Or, I mean,
he makes more birdies than I do, and he makes less bogeys. Yeah. That sort of adds up to him being a little bit better right now. I think the one thing I've always admired about Scottie is the amount of bogey-free rounds he shoots. Like, if you just go back throughout the last 2 or 3 years, and you just look at how many rounds that he shoots, that, he'll shoot like 4 under par, no bogeys, doesn't look spectacular at all, but, it's so solid, doesn't really put himself out of position. When you don't make a ton of bogeys, it's, the field's got to do something really special to sort of keep up.
You've had those stretches where you make the game look easy, and sort of like he does. Can you speak to what that does for you when you're out there, the confidence, and how it sort of maybe lifts you above everybody else?
Yeah, I think, golf is such a game of momentum, and when the momentum's going with you and you're making birdies and you're shooting scores in the 60s all the time, all you see are birdies and shooting scores in the 60s. So it's like I guess like a self-fulfilling sort of, thing. And then, when you get it going the wrong way in golf and you're seeing bogeys, all you see is bogeys, and you're shooting in the, 70s and you're struggling. And so I think it's, he's at the peak of his powers. His confidence is as high as it ever has been. And, it's a pretty nice feeling to have on the golf course.
I know you said you like this golf course. Do you think it'll be appreciably better next year once it's had a chance to grow in a little bit?
I think, look, we're going to have a chance to maybe fire at a few more pins or to hold some greens. I missed the green short on 18 today, sort of purposely, and I saw I was like 53 feet from the hole into, and I was the closest to the pin of the day. So it's, there's just, the golf course is just a little young this year, but in a year's time, I think it'll have bedded in, and it'll play a little better. But the scoring's still been incredibly good this year, and it just goes to show how adaptable we all are out here. And once we sort of figure out a golf course and how to play it, we can still shoot low scores.
Roy, do you think you have any duties coming up with the tour, with the transaction committee, or is that on hold for a while with you? Or
not that I've heard of. So I could look at my phone and have an email saying that there's a call next week, but not as of yet. No, I haven't No.
And it's true there hasn't been one for you guys for a while, right? Or a little while?
Not for us. Look, the lawyers have been talking a lot, and I think just the complexity of this deal from a legal standpoint is something that, and obviously we have nothing to add in that regard. So there's no point in us being on those calls.
A quiet fall.
Well, no, I got I've got a lot of travel and 5 tournaments to play, so not quiet, but quiet, maybe quiet on that front. Yeah.
The one with your dad, though, are you looking forward to that? I mean,
his
birthday, right?
Yeah, we've played the Dunhill a bunch. It's always his birthday that week. I love St Andrews. Yeah, I mean, it's always a really cool week. Yeah.
Rory, Shane, like you said, he's going to Europe. He's playing 3 weeks, not 5, but he says immediately his focus is looking ahead to next year's Ryder Cup. When do you start thinking about that? And do you have that same mindset as that's kind of the biggest thing in 2025?
Yeah, I think once Ricky gave Tommy that putt on the 16th green, I started thinking about Bethpage. I think, look, the qualifying started in Europe, and we're all trying to get points on the board early to make sure that we don't have to rely on a pick. So I think that's obviously the big thing. And I think one of the great things that we did leading up to Rome is we basically had, pretty much had the team set, a few months in advance, and so hopefully we can do the same thing again, and know the 12 that we're bringing to New York pretty early, so we can, think about pairings, think about all of those things that you need to, so that once we get there, we're a few weeks out, we're prepared and everyone knows what they're doing.
Thank you, Rory.
Thank you.
Thank you.